I'm Jenny Robertson, founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. I'm excited to share with you the speaker portion of our Connections After Hours gathering of the On Purpose Woman Global Community. Kathy Basel is speaking on AI Marketing Magic, teaching AI to sound like you and attract your soulmate clients. Kathy is the AI whisperer, and she combines 20 years of marketing expertise with intuitive coaching and healing. She guides solopreneurs to master AI-driven messaging. Kathy's passionate about empowering coaches, healers, and change makers to elevate their marketing and streamline their messaging, freeing time to do what they love, to transform lives. A sought-after speaker, Kathy has shared stages with luminaries like Jack Canfield, focusing on the power of owning our voice to make a meaningful impact and income. And you can find out more about Kathy on her website, which is thevitalitycode.com, and that link is also in the text of this video. Kathy, I'm so excited to hear what you have to say for us. Thank you for being here.
So awesome. Thank you so much. And that was such a great way to have the breakout and hear from the other ladies present here, all the on purpose women, because one thing that we share is that we are on purpose. We came into this calling, if you will, the kind of work that we do as a result of a calling that's on our heart. And to me, that's one of the most exciting, oddly enough, AI. One of the things that the magic that AI can create for us is to help us articulate what that message is on our soul to get out to the world. Like, you probably have loved the work that you're doing. And that burning question is, now, how do I get it out to the world in a bigger way? How do I find those clients that I'm uniquely here to meet? And that's what, to me, AI is all about. So if you've had those frustrations, what is AI? Get a little nervous to get into it. I think we all kind of started there, but I just invite you to be more curious. And tonight, what my intention is for you to walk away, and we're going to share some of my best tips to help you teach AI how to articulate who you are. I was sharing in our breakout group. It's kind of like Caesar Milan, the dog whisperer, that 9 times out of 10, it's not the dog that needs the training. It's actually the one on the other end of the leash. So if we can train ourselves, understand what the machine needs from us in order to understand fully who we are, it's a natural language model that can learn pretty much anything. So it's really up to us to learn to instruct it and really come into communion with it. So I'm going to share just a quick story about my background, because I think it pretty much is similar to all of us, that we came into this line of work that we do from a calling. For me, it happened, gosh, it was my birthday, January 19th of 1998. I was been in business for 16 years already, doing marketing and event planning. So had a great job working from home and great clients, doing really high profile fun work that I loved and making good money for it. When my mom that day, who had been a pinup girl for living, full of vitality and kind of like ageless living, if you will, she had a stroke. And life changes, right? So I don't know about you, but when she went into the medical world to get the support that she needed, it was lots of specialists looking at different body parts, and recognized really quickly that it wasn't the right place for her to come to full wellness. So for me, that was my spark to go into my next calling. So this is 8 years ago when I made the choice myself to become a holistic health coach. And once I started diving into that, I personally got drawn into emotional healing and the energy side of this, recognizing that so much of the patterning of what's holding us back is that childhood stuff. And so it's kind of weird, because I'm a marketing person and I'm a Capricorn and I like my feet on the ground. And now I'm like talking all this woo-woo stuff. And I struggled for quite some time when I was starting my how to attract clients, how to tell people what it is that I do. Have you ever had that? Anyone go to a networking and somebody asks the dreaded question, like, what do you do? And you're kind of like, well, I kind of change lives. I make magic. I heal your old wounds. Like, what do you do? How do you speak it in a way that's going to land for the person? And this is something that AI can really be great at. So what happened? So this is 8 years ago that I went in on that path. So AI came out November 22nd of 22. So I resisted it, just like a lot of us, especially us on purpose people, the healers and the coaches, because we're very much about that authentic connection. We recognize that the nature of our work is highly personal, and so we need to make those deep connections and be in an emotional, spiritual vibe with our clients, and that's where we want to attract from. So how could a robot or AI machine kind of emulate that? So fast forward, it's spring of last year, 2023, and buzz just wasn't going away about ChatGPT. So I dropped my own marketing messaging in there, and I was doing pretty good by then. So it was pretty dialed in. And when I saw what came out, it was literally, I just kind of like caught my breath because it articulated the message that was on my soul in a way that was better than I had even been able to up until then. And so what I recognized, that's my next calling now, is to blend my two backgrounds, the marketing side and the healing side, to help other healers and coaches and the change makers of the world to understand what a boon this can be for you to articulate your message. Like Jenny, you said, how intimidating that blank page can be. So how do you articulate what it is that makes people say yes to what you're doing? It can accelerate, it can be your best brainstormer, it can help you to lay out in advance the content that you're going to be creating. But it really starts with us teaching AI who we are and how to sound like us. So I'm going to start my presentation, and tell me if you can see this, because there's going to be so tonight the AI start. Okay, AI marketing magic. Teach AI to sound like you and attract your ideal clients. Can everybody see that all right? So the adage in marketing used to be that content is king. And now more than ever, everybody's going to be cranking out lots of content because AI makes it so simple. So I say that the new currency is going to be connection. Connection is going to be king. And we need to recognize that AI isn't going to take away our ability to articulate. It's going to actually amplify who we are. But the part of that needs to be for us to identify who we are. And that starts with speaking from our purpose. Who are you? Why did you get drawn into the work that you are doing? So this is what I like to say. Here's my belief statement. This is what I'm all about when I speak to my purpose. I believe it's time for the coaches, healers, and change makers of the world to step up, to be fully visible and earn the great income and that they deserve for the transformation that they create. It's both, right? I think a lot of us got caught up in making the impact, but it's like, no. We need to also be open to receiving the income that we believe. So think about this for yourself. What would be your belief statement? What do you want people to know about you? When you talk from a bigger vision, a mission, something that's bigger than you alone, it becomes something that's much more powerful than saying, I do hypnotherapy to help you kick your smoking habit, whatever that is, So what would your belief statement be? And think about, who are you? What are your core values? For me, I'm all about joy and freedom and fun in our businesses, but contribution and life balance. So what are some of those core values? This is almost like the pre-prompt. So this isn't even anything that you're putting in necessarily to ChatGPT. Prompt yourself to get clear on who you are. What are your interests that make you different from, if there's lots of other people who are NLP coaches, for instance, what makes you different? What drew you into it in the first place? For me, I happen to live in Denver, and I'm a mountain biker, and I'm a single woman. I've got a dog. And, so some of these things are some of my passions that make me unique. I'm a tree hugger. I spend lots of time outside. So, the types of things that are going to inform the way I communicate about myself reflect from that standpoint. So what are your interests that make you different from the other person? Do you follow Abraham Hicks? A lot of people may not even know who that is, but for those that are, when they hear that, that might be the commonality that's like, oh, wait a second, I'm going to lean in here because we're vibing on the same level. Abraham Hicks brand, or you like Greg Braden, or whoever that is. In marketing, there's a abbreviation, your USP, which means your unique selling proposition. But I really want you to think about this. I like to call it your unique soul proposition. Who are you? What is the soul mission, your passion? How has your path up until now led you to directly be called and inspired and uniquely there to solve the problem that your ideal client is here struggling with now? So here I want to teach you some of these things. Once you get clear on that, that's like being on the right end of the leash, right? So we know how to command what we want to put into ChatGPT or whichever one you're working with. So now let's step into the top tips about how to teach it to sound like you. The very first is, and I love that it's continually evolving. So now it's got the ability to, you can put a URL in there. So your own website is a great place to start. So before you start working on a new conversation, a new project, I like to give it a role. Acting as marketing expert today, we're going to be working on creating some magnetic messaging to attract my ideal client. So I always start with it, regardless of how many times we've been through this. I always give it a page from my website because there's a lot of information that talks about me, my mission, who I work with, how I'm different. You've got a treasure trove of information. Allow ChatGPT or whatever one you're working with to understand and extrapolate what some of these things are. It's also a great practice just to go through there and let it evaluate your website. You'd be surprised. I was working with a client who had been doing, she's incorporates astrology into the kind of work she's been doing, but she's been doing a long time. She's a master level person. When I had her, we did this together, analyzed her website and recognized how much of that expertise side of it was missing. She was speaking to it because she was excited about astrology and the how it incorporated with the work that she was doing, but it was really missing that. So it was a way that helped us to get clear on messaging we needed to incorporate. But in order to teach ChatGPT, this is a great jumpstart. Have it read one of your pages and go from there. Another way is you've got a ton of stuff that you've created before, whether it's articles or emails. Grab something that's in writing and put in this kind of prompt. And again, I've got a freebie that I'll give you that has all these prompts, so don't feel like you've got to write like a maniac to capture all these. I've got one handy dandy thing that'll have all of this for you. But you can this command in here, this kind of thing. It doesn't even need to be word for word this, but ask it to analyze your writing style and the tone using a writing sample. So again, that can be anything, whether it's an article, an blog, an email, and it'll come up with different kinds of terminology. Are you professional? Are you striking a balance between professional and conversational? I, as a coach, oftentimes use a lot of questions so that it engages the reader, but you can ask it and have different kinds of conversations to have it pull out for you the kinds of tonality that you use. Another tip, like you may have heard this one, but another fine tip on this one is to remember to use video transcripts too, because we talk differently than we write. So if you're going to be working with ChatGPT to create video scripts for you, which is one of my favorite things, it'll whip stuff out. Once you create a template, it can whip things out on topic, in your voice so quickly. But go to YouTube, to some of the videos that you may have uploaded. It automatically creates a transcript. You can drop that in to ChatGPT, have it analyze that, and then it will capture your tone. We're talking authentic, it's really going to be using some of the words that you use and those you don't. So that's the next tip, is create some of your lists of do's and don'ts. I think, in fact, this would be fun in the chat. What are some of those words that you hate when you see ChatGPT? I mean, you get in somebody's newsletter or you see them posting online. It's like, oh my gosh, that's so AI. For me as a coach, I think, we'll get lots of stuff like, in these changing days, or revolutionary, or beacon, or I hate when it does the rally call. Well, let's make a stand for, XYZ. So it's got all these flowery languages. And so, make your list of don'ts. And when you're working with it, you can drop that right in there as an instruction. Here's some of the things to avoid. For me, it was coming up with lots of um, watery metaphors. So like crossing tumultuous waters, and all these things. So you can take those things, make those lists, and just drop them in there. Say, oh man, whatever you do, don't do this. And you may have to remind it a time or two, because it does, for whatever reason. I think this is one of the things it forgets oftentimes. But then on the other hand, you might have modalities of things that you do that are specific to you. So back in the day, I was doing feminine power work, and I was talking about consciousness, and I'm Abraham Hicks, so I'm talking about law of attraction. What are some of those words? Think about AI. I mean, it's drawing upon a world, everything that's on the internet. So it's got this massive amount of information it's drawing upon. Whittle that back down into something that's specific. I work with women at this age range. Let's get very granular about who you are, who you work with, what that transformation is, what kinds of words those people are speaking. So here's something that you may not recognize if you use ChatGPT in particular. There is a thing called custom instructions that you will find if you go under your profile picture, click that, a mini drop down button will come, menu will come, and there'll be one that says create custom instructions or something like that. It changes the name occasionally, but you get 1,500 characters to drop in, and it's going to be kind of like it hanging out in the back of its mind. And here's the two questions that you're going to get 1,500 characters to express. What would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses? So ding, ding, if you want better responses, make sure that you fill this out. So you can even work with ChatGPT. You can come up and write this big old essay about all the things that you want it to know about you to provide better instructions. And then it's like, oh, it's too long. Drop it into ChatGPT and say, I'm working on the custom instructions. Cut this down to 1,500 characters that you find to be most important to capture my tone. And you'll get those things. It's saved in there so that anytime you begin a new project, it's going to remember and draw upon that. The second question is, how do you want ChatGPT to respond? So that means tonality. That might be that list of words that you do want it to use or you don't want it to use. It can go both ways. What are some of the other things in there? I do, as I coach people around AI. So I'm working with people in other countries, like say in London. So I might need to specify for them, I'm in the US and I'm, maybe Denver, we might have different colloquial things. So you might want to say in there, I'm from California, so there are different nuances in the way that it comes out. And you want to put in there the kind of tone. Another kind of thing I like to put in there is your Myers-Briggs score. So I am an ENJF, which says a lot about me. I'm empathic, and I'm intuitive, and I tend to be more of that softer personality. The example I like to use is you can have a health coach with two very different kinds of personalities. On the one hand, you might have somebody that's like a Chris Carr, who is a soft, blue, nurturing kind of personality. And you might have somebody like a Mel Robbins, who's very direct and to the point and chop, 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 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's get it. So how would you describe, or how are you in comparison to other people who do exactly what you do? So this is the kind of information that you can save both in your custom instructions, but also create a Word document off to the side that becomes like your master style guide, so that you can draw upon certain things. So if you're having a conversation with chat and it's kind of going off, you can bring that back. So again, you can give it an example of an inspirational voice, one that you follow. So are you a Chris Carr, or are you a Mel Robbins? Sometimes if it's going off when I'm writing marketing content, I might say, let's talk about, Seth Godin and his principles on XYZ. I was working with a client, and her person ended up being, I don't know if you know Iris Apfel, but she's this big, flowery, bigger than life, older woman. Yes, with the glasses. Is she a character? And Jen was this too. And so we were just playing around, and we were getting so frustrated because it was floating off, and we finally landed on Iris. And the words that came up, so I said, asked it, so what kind of words can we give you in the future to make sure that we articulate this, capture this in a way that makes sense? And the words pithy and wildly creative came up. It's like, how would we have known to instruct that? So I highly encourage you to play around with it. It's so important to get it dialed in that way. Again, how's your style when you're working with clients? Are you that direct kind of person, or are you more of a softer kind, or gentler kind of huggy kind of person? And then lastly, the third power tip here is to learn to speak your client's love language. This is, again, I'm going to cover a lot right here, but I've got a freebie that has this exactly. So this is where the jaw drop moment's going to come for you, because after you're grounded in your purpose, and you are speaking what you're here to speak, and then you're capturing the tone. If you can begin to connect from a deep service point, how do I serve my clients? What is on their hearts and minds? What are their concerns? This is where the magic happens. So you've probably heard of demographics in marketing, and that's kind of the age and the kind of surface level. If you ask me, where do people live? What are their incomes? But if you can go this level deeper, this is where magic begins. Tell me, what are their top 10 fears, their life beliefs, their values, their life goals, their challenges, their solutions that they've tried? You can go as deep as you want. I go into the psychology of it. Like, how long have they been struggling with this problem? What are they making it say about themselves? And what else are they afraid to try now that they failed this long? What would life look like for them on the other side of that? Another thing that I love about this, the kinds of books or authors or podcasts that they'll be following, because there's commonality that happens there, and you can draw upon quotes or refer to somebody's book, or talk about, I'm going to keep coming back to Abraham Hicks, the law of attraction, or everything's always working out for me. So when you drop in these things that are kind of like keynotes of a certain expert in your field, there's going to be a commonality that happens automatically. And there's some interesting psychology around this. If you can be the one that articulates a client's problem better than they can themselves, they naturally see you as the one that can help them to get out of that problem. So again, if you can help them articulate what's on their heart, that's where we want to get to. Here's a way of refining once you've gotten to that, is to go ahead and iterate. Ask ChatGPT to focus more, dial in on this one, dial out on that one. That one's no good. Let's focus in on these three. Or you might substitute. It's like, oh, wow, I don't do IT, but let's drop this other one in instead. Or I like to put things in tables sometimes. You can say, okay, give me, here's the top 10 problems that they're facing. Let's do their problem, how long they've been struggling with it. What's the psychology behind that, or any kind of thing. And then you can ask it to write in the first person, meaning it's going to be talking as if, it's like, oh, I'm such a loser because I haven't been able to, make this problem go away. What is it that your client is having the conversation in their head? When you can meet them heart to heart, that is the magic. So from that, once you dial in that, you can be everywhere with everything. You've got your core content, your core messaging, you're understanding their problems, you know how to meet them. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but there's a ton of ways. It becomes the foundation for how you show up and how you express in all ways, whether it's emails and videos and all your social media, your courses. We were talking about brainstorming on courses, writing outlines for your books, writing sections of your books, writing vision statements. Like, there is no end to how deeply this technology can help you. And so regardless of where you are, if you're sitting on the sidelines, dive in, just begin to play with it and deepen, go deeper, ask some of these questions. And here's where you can get my the prompts that I just shared. Honestly, if you just run through, there's a couple different sections. We've got the psychographics in there. If you just drop that in, like in 2 minutes, you will have so much information about your ideal client and what you can do in order to meet them, that it's going to open up a conversation that's really rich and meaningful for you. So this is clearly my joy. So please, grab the freebie, run through those prompts, let me know how it goes. And if you are interested in talking about where you are with AI and I like to say from AI to ROI, because it's easy to start creating lots of content, but until you get it dialed in to where it's landing, if you're creating content, you're putting it out there, you're not getting the engagement you want, or I think the other trap is we're creating a lot, but how much are you actually implementing? And what I really want to help you do is to simplify, get a plan, in the 30-day authentic content planner. You will actually get 5 different types of posts that are going to get your people to move towards saying yes to working with you. It's not just enough to share tips. It's not enough to talk about your modality or to talk about your background. We need to meet them with the pain point where they are and let them know how you alone are that you bring your unique soul power and you're the bridge to get them out of the pain that they've been suffering with. That's what we're here to do. We're here to serve. We're here to get people to the other side. And we get to do it authentically with this tool that can help us amplify our unique voice. There's magic here. With that, in closing, I'd like to just close with, I love Maya Angelou and her quote about people may forget what you said or did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. So with that, share that feel good that you're here to share with the world, and let AI be the magic that can help you get it out there in a bigger way.
Kathy, that was so good. So good. I want to ask all the ladies who are here with us on Zoom to unmute yourselves so we can give Kathy some applause, some kudos. So just go wild and crazy like you're telling AI who you are. And
Great job,
Great job.
yes,
Great.
yes.
Great
Thank
job.
you, Kathy. And I want to thank anyone who's watching this live or the replay on our YouTube channel. Please check out all the other women on our channel who share their gifts, their wisdom, and their expertise to inspire you to move forward, whether it's about your business or other parts of your life. If you want to join us for one of our Zoom gatherings or an in-person gathering, go to my website, opwgc.com, which is in the text of this video. And Kathy, I also realized that I picked up, I think, another website for you. So this Kathy Basel.
that was my before my transformation, before
Right.
this
That's what
next level
popped up
calling.
here.
I was the vitality coach. So if you want to check out the work I was doing there, but yeah, kathybasel.com right now is the place to go for all the AI whisperer.
Wonderful. So thank you so much. And thanks for watching, anyone.